Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to Card Making Project 542. Now today's project is kind of special, and Friday's is as well, because we're going to use the same items to make today's card as we make on Friday. Now Friday is going to be Christmas and today is all occasion, but it's showing the versatility of the products and the fact that you don't have to buy them for a specific use, and they will take you through the seasons basically throughout the year. So if you buy something and you think it's just for birthdays or for all occasion, think outside the box a little bit. Can you use it for Christmas? If it's a bell, maybe you could use it for weddings as well as Christmas. If it's a teacup, we still drink tea at Christmas, and that kind of thing. So it's kind of making you think outside the box a little bit. Now both projects, we make the identical card. There's a lot of die cutting in it, so if you are die cutting shy, this maybe isn't for you. However, we make a very ornate card, and I've got to say it is so beautiful, and I don't think the photos do it justice. The same for the Christmas card on Friday. So please check my blog for everything that I do use, because it's only a handful of items. It's just one particular die set, and it will take you throughout the year, and it is a beautiful set. So check the blog for all the items. If you've got any comments, please, comment on Facebook. Feel free. You can find me in the Anna Griffin group as well, and you can always message me, write on my wall on Facebook. All the links are at the end of the video. Now, I've also had a couple of questions, and they relate to the display behind me. The first question is from a lady who says that Anna Griffin always has lots of products behind her, and why don't I have? Well, the simple answer to that is, basically I like to show you the past tutorials, and that answers kind of the second question, because I was asked, what are the cards and scrapbooking pages behind me? Well, they're all projects that we've already covered, and you can find them on the blog. Because somebody said, oh, I'd like to see what's behind you close up. Well, they're already there. They're all on the blog, so it's just a case of have a look at the pictures, see which you fancy watching, click on the picture, and you can watch the video. So just relating back to the first question, I don't show the products because they're Anna's products. She likes to show her own products. I'm showing you just ways of how to use them and giving you inspiration, hopefully, and maybe helping you, holding your hand as you use products maybe you've never used before, that type of thing. So the third question is, what do I do with the projects on display? Well, that depends. If the personal projects, like there's one here that's got a photo of me and my husband in, I keep those, and I keep the scrapbooking pages. And I do keep some of the very ornate cards, but I give the rest to charity. And I give them to a lady who, she does craft fairs every so often, and she just raises money for different charities. And that's where they go. Sometimes I send them to people that watch, sometimes sometimes I use them. Sometimes I'm like you and somebody says to me, oh, it's so-and-so's birthday, and I think, oh, I haven't got a birthday card, believe it or not. It's normally Christmas cards I'm short of. So anyway, they do get used. They don't just get, put in a box and shoved in the loft. So I hope those answer questions about the display behind me. And they all just always look so beautiful on display. It makes me want to just show them all off, but I wish, I haven't got room. I wish there was. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial and Friday's, because it was mammoth prep for these, and I really enjoyed making them and making something a little bit different and repeating the same process, and you see how totally different both cards are. Okay, so it just remains for me to say sit back, relax, and let's have a look at today's gorgeous project. So for today's project, now, even though it is going to be absolutely spectacular when it's finished, we're not actually using that many items to be able to create it. Everything I do use I shall list on my blog, so please be sure to check that, especially for the card base when we get to that. But the main items I'm going to be using, do you remember the Anna Griffin Fancy Flip Card Making Kit? And there was some extra rubber stamps available. I'm going to be using the rubber stamps, and I'm going to be using the one for your birthday. That's going to be for the inside of our card. I'm also going to be using the new Ruffle Cut and Emboss die set. There's 8 dies in the set, and we're going to use all of them. There's a lot of prep and die cutting for this card, but believe me, it's worth it. Now, the one we're making today is all occasion, but the one we make on Friday is the Christmas version. They're both going to be identical in design. We're just going to be using different cardstock and different toppers to get a different result. So it shows that you'll be able to use your die sets not only for celebrations throughout the year, but for Christmas as well. So they're not actually occasion specific, if that makes sense. So the first thing that I need is my base card. Now this is an 8x8 card. It's the largest card that I use, and I'll show you the sizing on the cardometer. This is something I've designed to give you perspective at home, that you'll be able to see the size of the card that I'm using. So the largest card on the cardometer is the 8x8 card. Now, for anybody screaming at the TV saying that they can't get that size, check my blog, because there's details of not only where to purchase online, but the availability that you can actually purchase, download the template that I've designed that comes complete with an envelope as well. And you just literally purchase it, save it, print it, cut it out and make it. There's all the instructions there. So that's our base card. On the back of the base card, for new crafters, I've stamped using my Handmade By stamp. I've just used a permanent black ink, and then I've added my name. I always add the project number just because then it tells me where I am so I don't forget. But this, adding my name, means that someday if I give this card to them, will know who's made it for them in years to come when they save it. So simple as that, really. So now I've got my base card, I'm going to use my bone folder, and this is from the Anna Griffin tool collection, and I'm just going to make sure that's a nice sharp crease along the edge of the card so that it looks professional when it's stood on a mantelpiece or on a windowsill. And now we can get going. Now I know one of the most exciting parts is the inside for you, and I think this is a spectacular inside, and it will marry up perfectly for the outside. It really will. So the first thing that I've done is I've taken a piece of the rose paper, and this is from the Rose Designer collection from Anna, and this is just a scrap of paper. Now on Friday I think we do the insert in a different way to this, but it's the same design. So you're sort of seeing 2 different ways of how to do it. But don't quote me on that. So this is just a scrap of paper. I've got double-sided tape on the back of it. And I'm just going to position it through the middle of the card, like so. Next, where I've taken the large lace ruffle die, the large oval die, if you can see that on our magnetic mat. The large die has a shadow layer. Now what I did, I cut the inside of the actual insert, and sorry folks, it's winter now here and I'm starting to get chesty already. So let's hope that's not the start of something. So I've die cut the inside to die cut a lace layer out of it. But what I did was, because I wanted to use the shadow layer as well, I've had a very happy accident. Where I put both of the dies onto the cardstock, I'll lift them off for now just so you can see. I put them onto the cardstock and then I used washi tape to hold them in place. What's happened is the actual shadow layer, the section that I would normally take away, stayed in place. So the edge that would cut stayed where it was, and I thought, oh, you know what? That looks quite good. I'm going to keep that there. And I've just held it in place with the tape that's on the back of the card. So now I can cut this section out. Sorry, I can take the tape away from the back of it. And I've left the aperture with that double layer in. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to work for everybody. It was just a very happy accident for me where I positioned everything together. So I'd cut out a layer of the ivory cardstock, just slightly smaller than the inside of the card, and then die cut with the lace layer. There we go, and I'll just pop that inside the card and press it down. There we go. Now the layer that I cut out, the lace layer, now I can pop back in. So the piece of paper that we put through the centre of the card is going to act as kind of a backing to the actual layer. So you're just only going to see a little bit of it through the lace edge. So that's why I just used a little bit of scrap paper, because I wanted to make sure it was in the right place and that it would be just enough to be seen. So now I'm going to pop that lace layer back in to the aperture, because let's not forget this is just the inside of the card and we want it to match the outside. So that already just looks, it just looks so pretty. I've not even inked the edges this time, but then I've used the large oval from the set. This is where I've used the rubber stamp from the flip rubber stamp set, and I've just stamped in black, and then I've inked the edge slightly with just a cerise ink pad. I've got flat tape on the back, and then I can position this through the centre of our lace oval like so. Now there's enough room to write your toonie from, but there isn't enough room for a really long message. However, I think this card is just so pretty anyway. You're not going to write an essay in the middle of it, but it's going to match perfectly to our outside. And you can see that little flash of gold that was on the paper underneath. Oh, it's all going to look so pretty. So that's our insert. Quick and easy, but so effective. Now we can go to the outside. I'm going to just use my bone folder again, just to make sure that crease stays nice and sharp. Now for the base layer on the front of the card, I'm going to use a sheet of gold cardstock. I've just got double-sided tape on the back of it, and I've cut it to about 1/4 of an inch smaller than the actual outside of the card, just so that it gives a little bit of border around the edge. Now I've got to admit, you're not going to see a great deal of the cardstock. However, it's a base that I wanted to know that was there in case you get any gaps through the layers that you add now. You can see the reflection, my roof, my camera. I won't show you me because I've got no makeup on and hair scruffy, but I will give you a wave. There you go. So it's gorgeous cardstock is that, and that is the Anna Griffin gold foil card. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add edges to this. Now what I've done is I've already cut some out. and I want to show you how I've made these. Now this is the border die from our ruffle set and the actual shadow die. So we've got the ornate layer and the shadow layer, and there's 2 layers. I've used the rose cardstock and another piece of the rose cardstock. It's all from the rose collection. So the shadow layer is cut with, I'm going to call it, you know, the rose stripe, and then we've got a smaller ditzy pattern for the ornate layer. On the back of the actual shadow layer, I've got 4 pieces of 3D foam and a piece of tape. And then on the back of the actual ornate layer, I've just got a piece of red tape. And I've run that through the centre so I can attach one over the other. And I can add the ornate layer to the top of our shadow layer. Now you'll be doing this flat on the desk when you do it. There we go. And now I can add this to my card. I'm going to pull the edges up just slightly from our ornate layer, just squeezing them together a little bit. I'm not going to create a ruffle or a folded effect with this. I'm just simply going to now add this to my card. And I'm taking the scalloped shadow layer edge just up to the gold foil edge on the card. Now I'm going to do this another 3 times, where I've got the foam on the outside, and I'm going to cross over at the corners and do it again, foam to the outside so it gives a lifted effect, and then press the tape section in that's towards the centre. There we go. So that's die cutting the shadow layer 4 times and die cutting the ornate layer 4 times. So that gives us the base of our card. I was just checking that we're right way around there. So next, I don't want to see this crossover in the corners. So what I've done is I've die cut the small oval ornate layer and a base layer from the Rose Designer collection. The ornate layer I've got on 3D foam, and then the rose paper I've just gone flat tape. So I can put the ornate layer over the top of the shadow oval and then peel away the tape on the back like so. And then I'm going to add these into the corner, covering the actual cross corners. So we're covering this little bit up by adding the oval in the corners. I've already done this 4 times, so you can see there's quite a bit of die cutting in this one, and that will cover over that corner. Press it down, and then 2 more for the other sides. All the same, using the Rose Designer collection from Anna Griffin. And there we go. And the last one for the corner, again, just the same as the previous 3, covering how the corners and where the corners meet. So make sure we've got our card the right way around. So you can see how those ovals, they look so pretty already. So now we want something for the centre. And I've taken the large oval from the large ruffle, and I've die cut the same small pattern from the Rose Designer collection. I've put this on 3D foam. Now the 3D foam is positioned to go through the centre and down, because I haven't put it in the corners because we've already got the ovals in the corners and it wouldn't sit flat. So I'm going to just position that through the centre like that. Press it down. Next, our next oval is from the Rose Designer collection, and it's one of the flowered papers. This is on 3D foam, but it's just on one row of 3D foam. So we can pop that over the centre like that. So you can see how we're building all those layers up now, and it's just starting to really take effect. Next, I've used the large oval, just the plain shadow oval for the centre. Next, I've used the shadow layer of the smaller oval, and I'm going to just pop that through the centre. Now my sentiment has come from the actual Charming collage toppers, and you can see how it looked in its entirety. I've picked one of the toppers that was the perfect sentiment, should I say, for what I wanted, and then I've used the small oval ornate layer and I've die cut the centre. So I hope you can see that. Let me just reach a piece of black cardstock. So when the actual topper was in its full shape, the centre I used the smaller oval ornate die to cut out, and that basically is the waist. However, I'm thinking that's going to make another great card. For an insert, that would be awesome. So don't throw the waist away, be economical with it. So I can add the sentiment on the top, like so. That was on 3D foam. Now I've taken 4 mini roses from the Mini Favourite Flowers, 120 Mini Favourite Flowers collection stickers, and I am simply just going to add them around the edge and on the actual ovals that we've got in the corners. So I'll just peel the back of them away and then add them to the corners like so. There we go. And then the final thing to add is a little, well, I should say large pink bow. There we go. And that is our card finished. And I think that is magnificent. You can just see the gold peeking out from the layers on the sides from the border dies. So as it catches the light hits the sentiment as well and picks up the gold. There's all the pattern paper that just, oh, it just brings it to life. The inside matches perfectly. Stands up. This is a card that will be kept forever. It's like, I want to say it's like a mighty fine petticoat. The prettiest petticoat ever. But it's just it's so gorgeous. And I think you would need padding to post this. I think this is probably a card that you would hand deliver to somebody. I think you would want to see their face when they opened it. Now you can see that there was a lot of die cutting that went into that, but there wasn't a lot of products. So it's one die set, the Charming toppers, sorry, the Charming collage toppers, and then the stamp set for the insert, and obviously the paper collection. So that is so easily adaptable, and that's what we're going to do on Friday. We're going to make the same card, but we're going to make it Christmassy to show you that everything is so versatile. And we all love Anna's products, and we want to get as much life out of them as we possibly can. So I just hope that you've enjoyed this. Please check the blog. I will take plenty of photos of this, both inside and outside. All the list of everything I use is always on the blog. So please have a look and let me know what you think. You can always let me know on Facebook. And I would just like to say thank you so much for watching. I shall see you next time.